And one of the things I like to talk about on the show is spiritual intelligence. And that is whether it's the animals in the morning getting up as you're out there and they're making their sounds and they know when to get up, they know when to eat, they know when to do their thing. The sun knows when to shine, the rain knows when to come. That is spiritual intelligence at its core form. And as you were saying, these nuggets that we get at the beginning of these nudges that you talked about at the beginning of the show is also tapping into more of that spiritual intelligence from my view. So what is you obviously have been a very deep person of understanding nature and overcoming trauma and doing this deep work. How do you define spirituality for yourself? And how does that affect your work?
In the organizational realm or leadership realm, it's like blending the IQ with the EQ, and then definitely the spiritual, but also the SysQ, the systemic intelligence, because there's a lot of information there that people can access when they know how, if they give it a go even. But for me, it's like I've always been spiritual, raised Catholic, studied Buddhism, studied Hinduism, like studied end-of-life care, like been fascinated with this experience of this spiritual experience. So it's always been part of me as long as I can remember. So, you know, and in the end-of-life care, the palliative care volunteer work that I did, you know, I've prayed with Seventh-day Adventists. I've sat with people who have no faith. It's irrelevant. You know, if there'll be some connection to something spiritual. It may be nature. It may be the ocean. It may be their dog. It doesn't matter. But there will be some connection that helps them to make meaning of why they're here on the planet.
Well, I agree with that. I'm not here to define what anybody's definition of spirituality is, but I am here to have these conversations that you and I are having. And what I'm trying to get people to agree or understand or think or admit is that there is some higher source or higher energy than ourselves. All you have to do is realize that we aren't the ones that turn the sun on in the morning, and we aren't the ones that make the wind go. So there's something bigger than ourselves. And as long as we realize it's not ourselves, but we are part of that being. I mean, my definition of spirituality is that it's energy. I mean, spirituality is energy, and it's the wisest energy that ever exists, and it's the sum of all that is. So if spiritual energy is in all things, all people, all rocks, all beings, all sound, that the sum of all that with a collective consciousness, I don't have that as a person in a white robe on a cloud somewhere for myself. I have it that this spiritual intelligence is collectively trying to work through me, work through you. Hi, I'm Steve Rodgers. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you'd like to hear more from thought leaders, executives, CEOs, entrepreneurs, click on the link below and subscribe. We'd love to have you join us.